Welcome to the latest installment on the Lumbridge Knights Hardcore Iron Man journey. This installment is all about free-to-play melee. On my last update, I set targets of getting my melee combat stats to base level 40. Well, let's find out if I did that, and let's see how I did it. There may also be a spending spree at the Champions Guild. Who knows? Well met, adventurers. I am the Lumbridge Knight, your guide to all things old school RuneScape. Remember to like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any of the hints, tips, tricks and guides that I'll be bringing you on this channel. Blessings of Saradomin be upon you as we venture forth. Here we are in Lumbridge, and at the top of the screen there, you can see my mouse cursor highlighting the shack on the other side of the river. This is a place I always come to at the start of the game. Probably every character for the last 20 years has trained in this shack, and it's definitely somewhere worth going early on in the game. Goblins are reasonably easy to kill, and the drops aren't too bad to earn a few hundred to a few thousand coins early on. So here we are outside. I'm just going to quickly reinforce where this is on the map. It's the east bank of the river, just opposite the general store and the pub. First rule, open the door, get inside the shack, and close the door behind you. If you close the door, it stops other people from being able to click directly into your area, which means they can't steal your mobs. It also traps the mobs inside. This goblin stood on it, but you can see there's an iron dagger there. It's not great money, it's a few coins, but they spawn every, say, 30 seconds to a minute, so you can farm those quite easily alongside the drops that the goblins make as you farm them. If there's one rule to being an Iron Man account, it is do not waste anything. So pick every drop, bury every bone. It's just seconds of effort that will save you time in the long run. I'm going to jump to a video here that I made when I was kind of towards the end of my training in this area. I recommend getting to probably about base 20 in all stats in this area. You can see there I've got a Mithril Scimitar. That is the base level for this area. Once you're at that point, you kind of need to move on to bigger and better things. Something of a side note here, but something definitely worth noting, is the link popping up on the screen right now is a link to the 10 things to do straight away in old school RuneScape. And those are 10 things that I did on this account immediately, pretty much before I'd fought any of the goblins. So before you go to the shack and you start to train, watch this video and follow the 10 steps. So returning to the task at hand, as a challenge, if you can wipe out every goblin, I think around 6 spawn in the shack, simultaneously, you are ready to move on. As you'll see shortly, I managed to achieve this. It took a while and I didn't pick up any of my drops, but there we go, jumping for joy, I managed to smash all the goblins in that area. Next up, where do we head to? We head to the Barbarian Village. Here we are in the Barbarian Village. Let's do a quick panoramic. And just to show you on the map, it is to the west of Varrock. You can also see I've got the Skull Scepter in my inventory, and that is how I was able to get here from Lumbridge. I teleported using the Skull Scepter, which can be attained from the Stronghold of Security, which is literally just down that hole. As a little note, if you've never been to the Stronghold of Security before, the Count in Lumbridge in the graveyard will teleport you here to the village as a one-off teleport. But beware, he'll only do this once. Okay, now let's move on to the next free-to-play area where I train, the Barbarian Longhouse. Again, when you come inside, just like with the shack, shut the door behind you. This traps the mobs inside and stops people being able to use the minimap to enter the Longhouse easily. If you're looking around, there's also food on the table. So there's 2 meats which spawn every minute or 2. So you get free food. The Barbarian's level 17. They're not particularly difficult to kill. They drop some reasonable drops, I won't lie to you. They're not great drops, but there's drops nonetheless. You can at least upgrade your woodcutting axe from bronze to iron if you're playing on an Iron Man account like I am. That was reasonably useful and almost like a free upgrade. I would stay here for possibly level 30. So I'd aim for base 30, 30 defense, 30 attack, 30 strength. Also, don't make the mistake of going to Varrock. The closest bank is directly north in Edgeville. Edgeville is so underutilized sometimes. Even myself in the past have been going to Varrock. Just save yourself the time, go to Edgeville. You can see my character heading there now, just to kind of demonstrate the proximity of that bank. It's definitely the closer bank. When you've reached base 30 and everything, the next place I would head to is the Stronghold of Security. To be honest, what I actually did on my account is I actually stayed at the Barbarians in the Longhouse here until I was base 40 and everything. I didn't really venture into the Stronghold of Security. As we're going past it now, I think it's probably a good idea to point it out. The fishing zone to the east of the Barbarian Village is a really good place to pick up food if you're a non-Ironman account. Obviously, as an Ironman, you can't pick up other people's drops, but loads of people throw away trout and salmon at this point, so you can score some really effective food for training. So, let's move on to the Stronghold of Security. Head into the Stronghold of Security, use the portal, head straight down the ladder, and here we are on floor 2. This is where you want to be. Now you'll see there's some flesh crawlers there, there's some of the zombie things, and there's some giant rats. Ignore these, run straight through, and it's the second chamber you can see coming into view now. This is the room you want, full of flesh crawlers. Now, all you have to do is stand in the middle of the room, and you can just AFK this. As long as you've got enough food, good enough armor, you can just sit here for, 10-15 minutes. And the flesh crawlers will just attack you. You'll probably have to exit and come back, or maybe world skip to keep the aggro on you at all times. And obviously keep watching. You don't want to, especially with a hardcore Iron Man account like what I'm playing on, you don't want to get killed by flesh crawlers because you forgot to check and eat the food. The drops from the flesh crawlers aren't great again, but they do drop the bottom half of the scepter, which is again one of the scepter pieces. I'll be covering the recovery and assembly of the scepter in my update on Ranger training, which is coming next, I think. But for now, we'll just leave it. I'm going to pop the video back. As you can see, I'm now back in Edgeville, and we'll go through some of my equipment. So this is basically the setup I had for base 40 and everything. In recent times, I've managed to progress quite a bit. So I've bought the Dragon Vams. I got a Mithril Kite from the Ogresses when I've been training there, and I also got a Rune Full Helm, as well as you can see the Rune Meds and the Rune Battle Axes there. I bought some Addy Legs from the guy in Al Kharid, and I've also got some studded leather. Right, so just give me 2 seconds while I equip these so we can do a bit of a comparison, and I'm just going to put these bits back in the bank. Please forgive my OCD. This is much better, and I've even got a little bit of magic defense. My magic is not in the negatives, which for a melee setup is pretty decent. It's obviously not great, but for free to play, it's not too bad. The only thing that is annoying is the Amulet of Accuracy. I'm really struggling to find a way of getting something better that suits a melee class. I could use the Amulet of Defense, but I really want to do something that upgrades my attack power. What I want is an Amulet of Power or an Amulet of Strength, but to get those I need like 50 crafting, so it's just not really practical on free to play. So I may be exiting free to play with the Amulet of Accuracy as my prime melee slot amulet. But you know what? I think a rune level upgrade is well overdue for Derval Iron, so I'm going to withdraw the Chronicle, and I'm going to use that to get to the Champions Guild to go on a bit of a shopping spree. So I'm also going to withdraw all but one of my coins, because it's time to tick off some of the items on my list from last week's update. If you missed that, I'll put a link up in the description and on the screen now. Head back and review my list of wants. Several of them I can get now. One of them was the Rune Longsword, because I realised the Rune Scimitar is unattainable. It's just, without getting 99 smithing, I'm just not going to be able to get one. And I'd also need 70 odd mining, so I could mine Rune. Not practical. So, as you can see, my skills are on the screen there. I'm base 40 and everything. And my magic and range have been trained quite significantly. Updates on them are coming. So now, let's spend that hard-earned cash. So from this guy, I'm going to buy the Rune Longsword, not the Rune Sword, as the Rune Longsword provides an additional 10 attack strength and also 21 slashing attack power. So it's a much better weapon, hence why it's more expensive. I could get the chainmail, we'll come back to that, but I'm also definitely going to buy the Rune Legs. No hesitation there. They cost the pricey amount of 64,000 coins. Ouch. But in free to play, this is the only way for an Iron Man to obtain rune legs, so we have to buy from the shops. I'm also, maybe controversially, I don't know, I'm going to buy Addy Plate here, Addy Plate body, as my main chest armor, because man, it's 21,000, and I didn't realise it till I got in, because I've been looking on the Wikipedia pages and not really reading them properly, clearly, but it's 50k for rune chain. Like, for a minor stat difference, which I'm going to show you shortly, it's just not worth double what the Addy Plate is. So here's my stats now. You can see some quite considerable defensive increases there. Obviously, I'm more vulnerable to magic because I'm wearing plate mail, but everything else looks a hell of a lot better and a lot more powerful. And building towards that final quest, Dragon Slayer. That Amulet of Accuracy is still disappointing. I think I can enchant the Amulet of Strength, but I can't craft one. I need to get to 50 crafting, so I may actually go and get 50 crafting at some point. Now, here's a comparison between Rune Chain and Adamant Body. You can see that, yes, there's a slashing and a crushing bonus, which is quite a bit better than Adamant Plate, but at more than double the price, I just don't think I'm willing to pay it, especially when, as soon as I complete Dragon Slayer, whatever I've got on is just going straight back to the shop. So I think I'm going for the cheapo option. Hopefully I'll have maybe got like 44 prayer by the time I fight Elvarg. So my armor score will be academic at that point because I can use Protect from melee. Just to check there, yeah, 50,000 coins for the rune chain. Don't think it's worth it. You can now see my character in all its glory. I look like a gypsy. It's brilliant. Nothing matches. But unfortunately, that is the nature of free-to-play at this point. Once I've completed that final quest, I can rock full rune and start getting it in the members and trying to get some fancier, better-looking armor. Now, as a final update before I go, here's my quest log. You can see that it is all green except for that one red of Dragon Slayer 1. The other thing is, I'm going to be training up to 55 magic for that magic high alch. I just can't justify low alching those rune meds and the rune battle axes I've got. I know I'll kick myself later on for wasting the money. So I'm just going to bite the bullet, grind it up to 55 before I go members, because it's going to be worth it. Either that, or I'm going to keep those items in the bank. And also you can see my range is significantly higher than 40, which was my base target. That's because I've been farming ogresses. I'm working on a Hardcore Iron Man or an Iron Man specific money making video, which will be released shortly. So I'll leave you with a comparison of my stats at the start of the video, my equipment stats that is, and my equipment stats after my shopping spree. As you can see, there's a significant improvement there, and watch out for my next update. If you have enjoyed this video and it has been at all helpful, please like, subscribe, share and leave a comment. I, the Lumbridge Knight, am at your service. So, until the next time, fare thee well, brave adventurers.